October 2022. Adidas terminates their partnership with Kanye West. Overnight, he loses an estimated $1.5 billion. But here's what's strange. Nobody was surprised. The fans who used to defend him? Silent. The brands that built empires with him? Already halfway out the door. The culture that once called him untouchable? They've been saying goodbye for years. This is the story of how one of the most influential artists of a generation became someone the world couldn't defend anymore. Not because of one moment, because of 1,000 small choices that added up to a breaking point. To understand what Kanye lost, you have to understand what he built. The college dropout didn't just launch a career, it changed what hip-hop could sound like. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is still taught in music theory classes. Yeezy turned sneakers into $1 billion secondary market. But here's what made Kanye different from every other controversial artist. He had a deal with his fans. The deal was this. Kanye would push boundaries, say uncomfortable things, challenge systems. And in exchange, fans would defend him. They'd say he's playing chess while everyone else plays checkers. They'd say he's misunderstood. They'd say that's just Kanye. This wasn't blind loyalty. It was earned loyalty because Kanye delivered. Every album was an event. Every fashion drop sold out. Every interview became a cultural talking point. When he interrupted Taylor Swift, people debated it for months. Was it rude? Yes. Was it true that Beyoncé's video was better? Also yes. The controversy made both of them more famous. When he said George Bush doesn't care about black people during a live telethon, he said what millions were thinking. It was uncomfortable for networks, but it felt honest. The pattern was clear. Kanye would do something outrageous. People would be shocked. Then they'd realize he had a point. That pattern held for over a decade, until it didn't. November 2016, Sacramento. Kanye is on stage for his St. Pablo tour, but he's barely performing. Instead, he's ranting about Beyoncé, Jay-Z, radio politics, Mark Zuckerberg. 20 minutes. The crowd isn't cheering, they're recording. 3 days later, he cancels the rest of the tour. He's hospitalized. The public explanation is exhaustion. Here's where the cultural conversation shifted. People started asking a question they'd never seriously asked before. Is Kanye okay? Not, is he being misunderstood? Is he okay? But here's the complicated part. Kanye didn't want that conversation. In 2018, he told TMZ, "I think I'm in a stronger place than I've ever been because I can be me." He wasn't asking for help. He was asking for understanding. But increasingly, fans couldn't tell the difference between artistic provocation and genuine crisis. And that broke the deal, because the deal required trust. Trust that Kanye knew what he was doing. Trust that there was a plan. Trust that the controversy served a purpose. That trust was evaporating. When Kanye walked into the Oval Office wearing a red MAGA hat, something fundamental broke. This wasn't about politics in the abstract. This was personal. Because Kanye had built his brand on being unapologetically black. George Bush doesn't care about black people. That Kanye felt like a voice for people who'd been silenced. This Kanye felt like a betrayal. Then came TMZ. In an interview with TMZ, Kanye said,
For 400 years? For 400 years? That sounds like a choice.
Van Lathan, a black TMZ host, responded immediately.
I actually don't think you're thinking anything. I think what you're doing right now is actually the absence of thought.
Within hours, #hashtag Kanye's Over Party was trending. But here's what's important. It wasn't just randos on Twitter. Chance the Rapper, who collaborated with Kanye, tweeted support then deleted it after backlash. Talib Kweli, who worked with Kanye early in his career, said, "This isn't the person I knew. The armor of genius was cracking." And people were starting to ask, what are we defending? By 2022, something had shifted. Kanye's controversies were no longer about anything. They were the thing. And here's where psychology gets interesting. Dr. Ramani Durvasula, a psychologist who studies narcissism and celebrity culture, said something crucial. When celebrities air private conflicts publicly, they're not looking for resolution. They're looking for the audience to choose a side. That's not healing. That's recruitment. Fans weren't just watching a breakup. They were being asked to participate in it. And that felt wrong. The spectacle was no longer impressive. It was uncomfortable. Here's what people forget. While all this was happening, Kanye was still making companies billions. In 2021, Adidas reported that Yeezy generated nearly $2 billion in annual revenue. The Gap collaboration was projected to hit $1 billion in its first year. But behind closed doors, there was tension. Kanye posted internal emails showing disputes about creative control, about royalties, about who had final say on designs. He accused Adidas of stealing his ideas, of scheduling meetings without him, of launching products he didn't approve. Some of his complaints were valid. The fashion industry has a history of exploiting black creatives, of taking their ideas and cutting them out of profits. But here's what complicated the narrative. October 2022, Paris Fashion Week. Kanye debuts a collection. He's wearing a shirt that says White Lives Matter on the back. At this point, even people who agreed that the fashion industry treated Kanye unfairly couldn't defend how he was fighting back. Because he wasn't punching up at systems anymore. He was punching sideways at individuals. At a black woman fashion critic. At his ex-wife. At anyone who questioned him. October 8th, 2022. I'm a bit sleepy tonight, but when I wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. Twitter removed it within hours. But by then, it had been screenshotted hundreds of thousands of times. This wasn't subtext. This wasn't metaphor. This was Kanye West, to his 30 million followers, invoking anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. Days later, on the Drink Champs podcast, he doubled down. He said Jewish executives controlled the music industry. He said they blackballed him. He invoked harmful stereotypes that have been used to justify violence for centuries. The podcast was removed, but clips spread everywhere. A group hung a banner over the 405 freeway reading, "Kanye is right about the Jews," with Nazi salutes. This wasn't abstract anymore. This was real-world harm. October 25th, 2022. Adidas releases a statement. Adidas does not tolerate anti-Semitism and any other sort of hate speech. Yet recent comments and actions have been unacceptable, hateful, and dangerous. Their stock dropped 4% on the news, because ending the partnership cost them money too. They knew it. They did it anyway. Gap, terminated. Balenciaga, severed ties. CAA, his talent agency, dropped him. Def Jam, cut ties. MRC Studios, shelved a completed documentary about him. Forbes estimated he went from $2 billion net worth to $400 million in 3 weeks. But here's what's crucial to understand. These companies didn't drop Kanye the first time he said something controversial. They didn't drop him after the MAGA hat. They didn't drop him after slavery was a choice. They didn't drop him after the Pete Davidson posts. They dropped him when staying became more expensive than leaving. Brands tolerate a lot in the name of profit. But anti-Semitism is where the line gets drawn. Not necessarily because companies are more moral about anti-Semitism than other issues, but because the blowback is swift and organized. Jewish advocacy groups know how to apply pressure. They have institutional power. That matters. It's an uncomfortable truth, but it's the truth. Consequences aren't always about morality. Sometimes they're about math. But not everyone abandoned Kanye. Candace Owens defended him. Tucker Carlson aired an interview with him. Some fans insisted he was being silenced for speaking truth. But here's who wasn't defending him. The people who knew him best. John Legend, who'd worked with Kanye for years, said, "I don't support what he's saying. Period." Kid Cudi, once one of his closest collaborators, had already cut ties years earlier. Even his family stayed mostly quiet. Because here's the thing about Kanye's downfall. It wasn't sudden. It was slow. And the people closest to him saw it coming. Kanye West still has millions of monthly listeners. He can still sell out a show. He's still, technically, one of the most influential artists of his generation. But he lost something you can't measure in streams or ticket sales. He lost the benefit of the doubt. There's an interview from 2013 where Kanye says, "I want to be remembered like Walt Disney, like Howard Hughes, like Steve Jobs. I want people to say I changed culture." He did change culture. But now, when people talk about Kanye West, they don't talk about the college dropout first. They talk about the anti-Semitism, the MAGA hat, the breakdown we all watched in real time. Legacy isn't just about what you create. It's about what people remember. And Kanye taught us something important. Genius doesn't erase harm. Talent doesn't buy unlimited forgiveness. And influence without accountability isn't power. It's just noise. The world didn't cancel Kanye West. It just stopped making excuses for him.